Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog, which, like yesterday's vlog, is going to be shorter than usual, maybe even shorter than yesterday. I'm recording this on a Friday. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. You're seeing this on a Monday. I'm moving today, Friday. This is my big moving day into my condo. I'm all packed up, ready to go. Have to move stuff, might take more than one trip. I'm recording this video early so I can keep a schedule to get something out to all of you and still do what I have to do. So on to today's subject, which is by now old news, but it needs to be discussed. This is the tariffs that Donald Trump announced this morning that he's imposing on Mexico. 5% tariff on all Mexican products starting on June 10th, increasing periodically by 5% in 5% increments until Mexico does something about the illegal immigrants from Mexico and from Central America, especially Guatemala, which has a border with Mexico, flooding into our country. I have a problem with, I understand his need to do the tariffs because we have a Congress, we have Democrats who refuse to work with him to solve this problem. I'm thinking and I'm hoping and I'm praying that this is going to hurt them in 2020 and that we're going to have a Republican control the House again so that we can do something about this, because they don't want to do anything, the Democrats, that is going to help Trump, and especially if what they do not only helps Trump, but further angers their base, in this case, doing something about immigration because they want open borders, so that angers them, number one, and then it angers them because it helps Trump and it allows him to keep another campaign promise. So it's a double whammy if you're a liberal Democrat who hates Donald Trump. Forgive the redundancy. If you're a liberal Democrat, you probably hate Trump. It goes with the territory. The problem I have, though, is I think, and this is what I try to do in these videos, to mention something that other people aren't mentioning. This actually has been mentioned, but by a very small number of people, and not in the recent controversy, at least as far as I've heard, the recent controversy that has now erupted because of these new tariffs that Trump is imposing. And it is a controversy because you have Chuck Grassley, who is a Republican, but he's a farm state Republican, Iowa. He has a problem with these tariffs because they're going to hurt the farmers that he represents. Iowa is obviously a big farm state. The question is, why is Mexico not doing anything about immigration? Number one, and because they could do something about it. You have to remember that Mexico is an entire country that these illegal immigrants from Guatemala cross to get to our border. So there is plenty of time for Mexican authorities to stop these people and send them back. Some of these people are traveling on foot, traveling for weeks. The transit takes weeks, so there's plenty of time for Mexico to stop them and send them back. There are also these freight trains. You've probably seen photos of these unlawful aliens sitting on top of freight trains and riding them to get to the border even faster. Mexico could stop these trains and search these trains, and it wouldn't take much searching because these unlawful aliens are sitting out in the open right on top of the train cars. It would be no problem for Mexico to detain them and send them back. They're not doing it. They could also find the train companies that are carrying these people because they know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose, which brings up an interview that I just heard of somebody saying that he was told, I don't remember the official's name, but being told by an unlawful alien that when he crossed into Mexico illegally, he was stopped and he was asked by the Mexican police, the Mexican authorities, are you planning to stay in Mexico or are you going through to the United States? He said he was going through to the United States, and the Mexican official said, okay, well, great, go ahead. Mexico apparently has no problem with unlawful aliens transiting their country to go to the United States as long as they don't stay in Mexico. Now, we need Mexico to stop them because, as I said, the Democrats aren't going to help, and unless we change our laws, which requires Congress, which requires Democrats, we are always going to have this incentive to draw these unlawful aliens to come to our country, because those countries are terrible, like a lot of countries that aren't the United States. So let's all be proud that we're Americans. I'm so proud that I was born here. I'm so happy when I see these other countries and what's happening in these other countries. The question is, why is Mexico not doing anything to stop these people? And most of all, why is Mexico doing virtually nothing to stop Mexicans from going to the United States? Mexico is a country of Mexicans. One would think that the Mexicans would want Mexicans to stay in Mexico, but they want Mexicans to go to the United States. You have the president of Mexico saying that, as I just heard him say maybe an hour ago, that the United States is a nation of immigrants. Same thing that Democrats and everybody says, we're a nation of immigrants, which actually is not really true. Most people, the vast majority of people in the United States were born in the United States. But why is the president of Mexico saying this? It's as if he wants Mexicans to go to the United States. And he does. He wants Mexicans to go to the United States. Nobody is talking about why, and until we recognize not just what is incentivizing ordinary Mexicans to come to the United States, to come into the country illegally, but why Mexico is all but encouraging Mexicans to do so. One reason is that if the Mexicans are in the United States, then Mexico doesn't have to take care of them, doesn't have to pay welfare. If 2/3 of the unlawful immigrants to the United States, and actually lawful immigrants too, 2/3 of immigrants to the United States are on welfare. They're getting government assistance. They're not contributing to the economy. But what they are doing, and this is the reason that we have to recognize if we're going to deal with this problem without the help of Congress, or even with the help of Congress, it makes the solution even more effective, which is that the United States is de facto providing foreign aid to Mexico. To see what I mean, just look at this chart. That chart shows the amount in billions of dollars that immigrants in this country are sending back to their countries of origin. What country is at the top of the list? That's right, it's Mexico. How much are they sending? $25 billion a year, or at least at the time of this chart. You can see these figures are from 2015, but I'm sure the figures are similar now, if not more, because we have more immigrants coming into this country from these countries than before. So $25 billion, that for a country like Mexico, that is a very big chunk of their income. That's why Mexico, though of course they would never admit it, wants these Mexicans to come to America to earn money and send that money back. You'll also see, if you look on that list, that the people coming in from these other countries that are transiting, such as Guatemala, transiting through Mexico, they're sending money back too, to their home countries. They're not sending back quite as much yet, but remember, this same transit route allows Mexicans to come into our country, and that's what they really want. And that shows us a partial solution, a major solution to dealing with this problem, which is, well, there are two things that we could do. One of which is to tax money repatriated to Mexico. So if you're a Mexican working in the United States, you send money back to Mexico, you're going to be taxed. Some of that money will stay in the United States, and that's going to hurt Mexico financially. So imagine, this is solution number two, that we stopped all transfers of money earned in the United States to Mexico. And if we were able to stop these transfers of US dollars to Mexico, this would create an enormous incentive for Mexico finally to take seriously and do something substantive about unlawful immigration from and across Mexico to the United States. Because not getting future payments from new unlawful aliens is one thing, but being deprived of the tens of billions of dollars that you're getting now, that is another kettle of fish entirely. And it keeps all these dollars in the United States. That's what I would do. I would say if you're a Mexican or a Central American and you're coming to work in this country, the money you earn has to be spent here. You cannot send it out of the country. That's my thought for today. I gotta wind it up. I gotta run out and do stuff. Thanks for stopping by as usual. If you liked the video, then thumbs up. If you have any comments, put them in the comment section below. You can also put in the comment section any suggestions for a topic that you would like me to discuss. You can also argue with other commenters. Just tell me where I'm wrong. You can do that. Well, that's the same thing as making a comment. It can be either pro or con. If you have a Twitter account, then why not tweet out the URL to this video, or why not tweet out the URL to the whole channel to your followers and urge them to retweet. And finally, well, not finally, second to finally, subscribe. That way you won't miss a video, or maybe you wouldn't anyways because you're checking every day to see if I did one. I try to put one out Monday through Friday, but if you subscribe, even though you're already visiting my channel to look for new videos, you would get the video hot off the press. You would know the instant that a video is posted. And now that was second to finally. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope to see you all again. Bye.